people and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want. Watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Hello, you're welcome to TVM's Business Update from the city of Warri, Delta State. These are the news on the hour. The Nigerian naira has experienced a fresh wave of depreciation, falling to 1,391 naira against the US dollar in the official market today, Thursday, March 26, 2026. This decline comes as the US dollar gains significant strength on the global stage, driven by rising inflation expectations and investor anxiety surrounding the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows the naira weakened from the 1,383.5 naira recorded on Tuesday, reflecting the continued volatility in the foreign exchange markets. Market analysts point to a combination of international and domestic factors, noting that the safe haven appeal of the dollar has intensified as traders assess the impact of energy hike spikes on global growth. The interbank market also saw a notable cooling, with turnover dropping to $55.7 million as the number of executed deals declined. While the official rates hovered near the 1,391 naira mark, the parallel market rate remained relatively steady at approximately 1,415 naira per dollar, slightly narrowing the spread between the two segments. New data from the National Bureau of Statistics have revealed that the foreign direct investments (FDI) into Nigeria remained below 4% of total capital imports in 2025, even as the country recorded a total foreign capital inflow of $23.22 billion. The reports indicate that the bulk of the capital entering the country is concentrated in portfolio investments rather than long-term industrial projects. The $23.22 billion figure represents a significant increase in total capital importation compared to the previous year. However, the lopsided nature of these inflows shows that the foreign portfolio investments, which includes stocks and bonds, continues to dominate the Nigerian financial landscape. Banking and production sectors were the primary recipients of the capital, with Lagos State maintaining its position as the top destination for foreign investments. While the high level of total capital suggests a return of investor confidence in the nation's financial markets, the low FDI components points to a continued hesitation by global firms to commit to physical infrastructure and manufacturing plans. The federal government has stated it is working on further ease of doing business reforms to convert these short-term financial flows into permanent industrial investments. And another news, the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, has officially selected Nigeria as a pilot country for the implementation of the Simplified Trade Regime, STR. This initiative is designed to streamline customs procedures and reduce the documentation burdens for small-scale cross-border traders across the continent. The STR pilot program focuses on helping small and medium-sized enterprises export goods within Africa without a complex requirements typically faced by large corporations. Under this regime, a common list of products has been established that can be traded with simplified certificates of origin and reduced processing fees at land borders. Nigeria was selected due to its strategic position as Africa's largest market and its high volume of informal cross-border trade. The implementation is expected to begin at key border posts, including SME and Kaba, where customs officials are already being trained on the new automated clearing systems. The AFCFTA Secretariat noted that success in the Nigerian pilot system will serve as a blueprint for the rollout of the simplified regime across the 54 member states. The Minister of Education, Professor Tunji Alausa, has disclosed that Nigeria requires an annual investment of $345 million to effectively address the crisis of 15 million out-of-school children. Speaking at a National Education Summit in Abuja, the minister explained that this funding is essential to providing basic infrastructures and learning materials to the nation's youths. The ministry's roadmap targets a significant reduction in the number of children currently not enrolled in formal education through the Better Education Service Delivery for All initiative. The $345 million annual requirement covers the construction of thousands of new classrooms, the recruitment of qualified teachers, and the implementation of a national school feeding programs to encourage enrollments. He emphasized that the 15 million figure represents a critical demographic that must be integrated into the workforce to ensure long-term national security and economic growth. The ministry is also pushing for the digitalization of primary school records to better track students' retention rates across the rural communities. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, has stated that the ongoing war between Israel and Iran has created new commercial opportunities for Nigeria in the global energy markets. The National Oil Company reported earlier today that disruptions in Middle Eastern supply routes have led international buyers to seek alternative, stable source of crude oil. The NNPC disclosed that there has been an increase in inquiries from European and Asian refineries for Nigerian crude grades, which are currently seen as a viable alternative to Iranian and other Middle Eastern blends. The company explained that Nigeria is strategically positioned to fill the supply gap, provided domestic production levels remain stable and oil infrastructure is protected from local disruptions. The NNPC is currently working to maximize production from deepwater assets to take advantage of the favorable pricing environment. Additionally, the conflict has accelerated discussions regarding the completion of the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline as Europe looks to diversify as gas imports away from volatile regions. The company emphasized that it is committed to honoring all long-term supply contracts while exploring these emerging spot market opportunities. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, in collaboration with state electricity regulators, has inaugurated the Forum of Nigerian Electricity Regulators, FONA. The new body is designed to harmonize regulations following the devolution of power sector control to state governments under the new Electricity Acts. FONA will serve as a central platform for the exchange of technical expertise and the coordination of regulatory policies between the federal government and the various states that have established their own electricity markets. The inauguration comes as states like Lagos, Edo, and Enugu begin the process of licensing independent power providers and distribution companies. NERC Chairman Sanusi Garba explained that the forum is necessary to prevent a fragmented regulatory environment that could discourage investors. The forum will focus on establishing uniform standards for tariff setting, grid connection, and consumer protection across the country. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll return more news. Please stay with us.
Welcome to DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, engineering services, construction and fabrication works, specialized procurement and supply, operations and maintenance services, and integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. At DERSAG Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
Welcome back. The federal government has intensified its campaign to attract foreign direct investments into the upstream petroleum sector, marketing Nigerian crude as some of the best in the world. During an international energy conference, government officials highlighted the unique chemical properties of Nigeria's sweet crude as a key selling point. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources explained that Nigerian crude grades such as Bonny Light and Kwa Ibwe are highly sought after by global refineries due to how low sulfur content and high yield of gasoline and diesel. He stated that the government is offering new fiscal incentives under the Petroleum Industry Act to encourage the international oil companies to invest in new exploration wells and brownfield revitalizations. Investors were briefed on the improved security situation in the Niger Delta and the ongoing efforts to eliminate pipeline vandalism. The federal government noted that with the global shift toward cleaner burning fuels, Nigeria's light crude remains a premium choice for the international markets. The federal government has intensified its campaign to attract foreign direct investments into the upstream petroleum sector, marketing Nigerian crude as some of the best in the world. During an international energy conference, government officials highlighted the unique chemical properties of Nigerian's sweet crude as a key selling point. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources explained that the Nigerian crude grades such as Bonny Light and Kwa Ibwe are highly sought after by global refineries due to their low sulfur content and high yield of gasoline and diesel. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, has announced that Nigeria will officially launch a key digital trade platform on Friday, March 27th. The platform is intended to fully automate the documentation process for both importers and exporters, significantly reducing the time required to clear goods. The digital portal will integrate various government agencies, including the Nigeria's Customs Service, NAFDAC, and the Nigerian Port Authority (NPA), into a single window for trade facilitation. Minister Oduwole explained that the move is part of the administration's broader economic reforms aimed at improving the country's ranking in the Global Ease of Doing Business Index by eliminating physical paperwork and reducing human interface. The platform aims to curb corruption and decrease the cost of trade. The launch will also include a new electronic tracking system for containers to provide real-time updates to business owners. The ministry stated that the platform has undergone rigorous testing and is expected to save the Nigerian economy billions of naira annually in lost productivity at the ports. The United Nations has issued a historic declaration labeling the transatlantic enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity in history. In a resolution passed on Thursday, the UN officially called for the establishment of a global framework for reparations to be paid in African nations and the diaspora. The resolution emphasizes that the systemic exploitation of African labor and resources for centuries laid the foundation for the wealth of many developed nations while leaving Africa in a cycle of underdevelopment. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stated that acknowledging the crime is the first step toward restorative justice. The declaration calls for the creation of an international tribunal to determine the scale of reparations and the mechanisms for their disbursement, which could include debt cancellation, direct financial transfers, and technology sharing. While the resolution is non-binding, it marks a significant shift in the global diplomatic stance on the history of colonization. An oil tanker operated by a Turkish firm has been attacked while navigating the Black Sea earlier today, Thursday, March 26, 2026. The vessel, which was transporting petroleum products, was reportedly struck by a projectile, causing a fire and structural damage to the hull. The crew on board the tanker managed to contain the blaze, and no fatalities have been reported so far. The attack occurred in the international waters, and while no group has claimed responsibility, the incident has raised fresh concerns about the safety of maritime shipping in the region. Global insurance premiums for Black Sea transits have spiked following the report, and several shipping companies have ordered their vessels to stay in port until the situation is clarified. The Turkish government has condemned the attack and has dispatched naval assets to escort other commercial vessels in the area. The World Trade Organization, WTO, has convened a high-level meeting to discuss the future of global trade as the war between Israel and Iran continues to disrupt major maritime corridors. The organization warned earlier today that the conflict is casting a shadow over the recovery of the global economy. WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala noted that the disruption of the Suez Canal and other key shipping routes is leading to increased freight costs and delayed delivery times for essential goods. The organization is particularly concerned about the impact of rising food and energy prices on developing nations. During the deliberations, member countries discussed that the need for more resilient supply chains and the potential for friend-shoring trade to more stable regions. The WTO highlighted that if the conflict escalates, it could shave a significant percentage of global GDP growth for 2026. The meeting also addressed the rise of protectionist measures as countries scramble to secure their own food and fuel supplies. The WTO has called for an immediate de-escalation of the conflict to prevent a total collapse of the rules-based international trading system. Trades ministers from across the globe have gathered in Yaoundé, Cameroon, to begin a series of crucial negotiations aimed at overhauling the World Trade Organization. The talks, which started earlier today, are focused on modernizing global trade rules to better reflect the realities of the digital economy and the needs of developing nations. The agenda for the meeting includes the long-awaited reform of the WTO's dispute settlement mechanism, which has been paralyzed for several years. Ministers are also discussing the removal of harmful fisheries subsidies and the creation of new rules for e-commerce. Host nation Cameroon emphasized that the meeting is a rare opportunity for African voices to influence the global trade architecture. A key sticking point in the negotiations remains the issue of agricultural subsidies in developed nations, which many African countries argue disadvantage their local farmers. The ministers are aiming to reach a preliminary agreement on several key dossiers before the next major WTO ministerial conference. The success of the talks in Cameroon is seen as vital for maintaining the relevance of the WTO in an increasingly fragmented global economic landscape. And that wraps up today's edition and business updates. Follow us on all our digital platforms. You can also reach us via the numbers displayed on your screen. I am Mara Samuels, and do have a lovely day. Stay tuned.